Greetings, folks. My name's Red, and welcome back to the Barrens. Ooh, I'm starting to get a little bit more familiar with saying that. That's weird. And I'm pretty excited to get things moving, but I don't really have much of a plan for what I'm doing right here, right now. I kind of just wanted to do a little competitor spotlight style thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show off the lay of the land for all foreign nations now that the game starts in a couple days. So come with me. So our first team on the list is the True Blues. I'm calling them. They're actually just referred. They're called Blue Team, but they're the True Blues in my eyes. So they control 4 different regions. They have majority control over 4 different regions, and they are the Moldy Mire over there, the Sun-Kissed Lowlands, Herring, of course, and what was the last one? Ah, yes, the first Wellspring. Yes. So I'll be putting a map of that on screen, as well as all 15 territories, which I will not bother listing out that they control after the draft. Now, of those 15 territories, 5 of them produce resources to be used in battle. So that means that the True Blues get the full benefit of boats, fish, a mounted division, defensive splash potions, and... Ooh, what was their last? Oh, yes! They also get stronger armor as well. Now that is sturdy. Sturdy and mobile. This is definitely a nation that is geared up to do trade. Now the terrain up here in the northwest of the map is either plains or marsh for the most part. So that means that having good transportation across either is probably vital to winning a fight. So I expect that the boats and the steed will come in handy. Now that's enough of the True Blue hullabaloo, so why don't you follow me and see who else we run into. Ah yes! Blue Team! I'm putting it on screen. It's absolutely atrocious to look at, but unfortunately, yes, that can technically be pronounced Blue Team phonetically. I hate it. But because there's 2 blue teams, I have been giving everyone nicknames. So the True Blues are the blue-colored team, and the red ones, those guys are the B-Hull to me. So this is the B-Hull. Now the B-Hull is actually tied for lowest region majority. They own Evergreen Dunes, Convergence, and the Paradoxical Wastes, and are currently disputing control over Turmoil Pass, rather fittingly, I might say. The B-Hull also controls 15 territories. Once again, I'll be putting all this on screen so that way you can check it out while I'm saying it. Except 6 of those territories happen to produce resources, and I'm going to go over those now. Now, the B-Hull is fueled by stuff like golden apples, extra enchantments, rabbits for food, a buffed garrison, totems of undying, in fact, as well as, just axes. Now talk about a resilient nation. With all those resources in battle, I doubt that they're going to go down very easily. These guys can survive any form of climate, any form of territory, especially given how the land here in the southwest is just horrendous to navigate. As you can see from my brief glimpse I've given you, it is harsh. But that may play to their advantage, who knows? Ah, now it's time for Blue Team. I know, this is the 3rd Blue Team in a row. It's spelled like this, which isn't as bad as the red one, but it was a mistake to let people name themselves. It was a mistake. But either way, it's phonetically pronounced Blue Team. So yes, this is Blue Team. However, my nickname for them is the Bluffs, because it can also be pronounced like that, kind of like tough with the BL. So these guys are the Bluffs, the green crew. The Bluffs happen to have the highest region count out of the 4 nations in the game at the moment. I can't remember what they are, so I'm not even going to bother trying, but I will just put them up on screen like usual. You can read them. You can read. I believe in you. There you go. And now the Bluffs also control 20 territories, making them the biggest nation by far. That's a huge landmass right there. Now, of those territories, only 7 actually produce any resources that you can use in the fight. Now, the Bluffs, of those 7 resources, they get access to spyglasses, their own mounted division, thrown explosives, which is very fun, a supply chain bonus, rabbits, extra arrows, and... Ooh, what was the last thing? Oh yes, how can I forget? Offensive splash potions. That'll be fun. So this militarized nation definitely has enough munitions to carry it through. Now the terrain in the northeast here is either forested, wet, or desert. It's pretty varied, actually. It's probably the widest variety of terrain you can have on the map. So, as far as strategy goes, that just depends on which region you're going for. And lastly, there's Grizzy and the Lemmingsville. The only unique name, thankfully. Although it is a bit long, so I often just shorten them to Team Grizzy. But that is our glorious yellow team. Just kind of hanging out here in the countryside. Now, these guys are tied with red for the lowest region majority. So they're also fighting over Turmoil Pass, and they control Hollow Acres, Tranquil Pass, as well as... Actually, green took Grime from them, so they don't have that. But they do have Ringneck Roost. And Team Grizzy also owns 14 territories, 5 of which produce resources. So that's not too bad. The Grizzy team gets access to Elytra, Tridents, Bread, Steak, and Shields. So that's a pretty all-around setup, honestly. It's pretty good resource load, especially for not starving. So if there's ever some kind of food shortage, events in the game in the future, maybe, then they'll be prepared for sure. So I put the most stock in them for having enough to eat. And lastly, for our competitor spotlight here, the land in the southeast is very flat, warm, and welcoming. It's just rolling hills with a little bit of desert outskirt here in Grime. But that's not even under yellow control. So the harshest it gets is a little land bridge here. Which means that if you're fighting down here, you're going to have to get ready to be pelted with arrows because there is nowhere to hide and nowhere to run. And that concludes our Barrens tour and team spotlight. The actual game doesn't start for another 2 days, but I'm just getting excited. So, thank you for joining me to check out what's going on. I have not a whole lot of information on who's in charge of what just yet, but you'll see that when I record the videos of all the fights starting Saturday. Ooh, yes. I don't know when those are going to go up, but they will. And I am pumped for it, if you couldn't tell. Yes! So, thanks once again for coming to check it out. I'll see you on Saturday, or, whenever.